If you're an insulin-dependent type 1 or type 2 diabetic, you can be a commercial pilot, a fireman, or work in armed forces. But you can be a prime minister, a rock star, or a model. I was diagnosed with type 1 when I was 3 years old. And 12 years ago, I started a professional career in a well-known public accounting firm. Today, I'm in senior management and I'm earning a decent six-figure salary. And I'm not sharing this to brag. I'm sharing this to prove that being diagnosed with diabetes at any age doesn't need to stop you from pursuing your dream or landing your dream job. No matter if you want a career at a huge corporation or a small startup. No matter if you want to become an entrepreneur or pursue an independent profession. And I have a few tips for you that help me perform well in my job while managing my diabetes responsibly and keeping my blood sugars in the ideal range. Let's go! For this video, I partnered with SkinGrip, because they are giving out more than $20,000 in scholarship to any US school to diabetics. To apply for the scholarship or to contribute to this amazing activity, just follow the link in the video description. I just contributed $400. And if you can't contribute, that's okay. Just hit that like button and help this video reach more diabetic students. Now let's get back to diabetes career tips. Tip number 1, don't give up on your dream job just because you have diabetes. Of course, a job with fixed working hours where you don't have to sit behind your desk all day long and where you have the flexibility to inject insulin and monitor your blood sugars is the easiest one to manage for diabetics. But this doesn't need to stop you or limit you. I've personally worked 12 to 14 hours a day in the audit busy season in the office with back-to-back meetings many days or many weeks in a year. And it was very challenging to think about my diabetes and manage my blood sugars during these deep work sessions. What I learned during those days is that it's key to schedule time slots on my calendar, to check my blood sugar, to have regular meals, and to be able to squeeze in a workout session on the days I wanted to have one. And the same thing goes for my meals. I did research in advance of good food options around the workplace, or I brought a lunchbox from my home with known carb content. And that way I didn't have to spend too much time on calculating how much insulin to take and when exactly to take it. So if your profession requires a regular or crazy busy schedule or regular travel, plan in advance how you will handle things like meals and checking your blood sugars and taking your insulin, of course. It will help you simplify your diabetes management during those very busy days. Tip number 2, think about who you want to make aware that you are diabetic. You might be asked about it during the application process because some roles are not appropriate for people with specific health condition, but in general it is not allowed for an employer to refuse someone from a job on the grounds of them having diabetes. So if you're not asked, you don't have to mention it, but I still think there are some pros of being open about your diabetes. If your closest colleagues know that you have diabetes and how to help you when your blood sugar goes too low, they might be able to actually help you when something happens in the future and you need the help. From my experience, I also think that talking openly about my diabetes with my colleagues helps build the trust. When they see you sharing such sensitive information openly, they will know that you trust them and will be more likely to trust you with other things. Your relationship will become stronger and your colleagues will be more understanding about your special time schedule, special needs to take additional snack or check your blood sugar. The more you share, the more they might respect your achievements and the less annoying diabetic advice they might be giving you. You know, you should not really be eating that as a diabetic. On the other hand, you absolutely don't need to tell all your colleagues about your diabetes, especially not to those who you don't trust. You just need to be prepared that they might be asking you annoying questions about you checking your blood sugars, your CGM, or your insulin pump, or what have you. What is that in your pocket? What's that patch on your arm? Are you trying to quit smoking? Tip number 3, use the latest diabetes technology that is available to you to automate things. If you watch my channel, you know how much I love continuous glucose monitors and closed-loop insulin delivery solutions. When I got my first CGM, Freestyle Libre 4 years ago, my diabetes management at work became exponentially easier because I had the information about my blood sugar levels instantly available on my phone. No more hiding from the colleagues and secret finger pricking. With a CGM, I can check anytime, during a meeting, during a coffee break, or when I'm working at my desk. It's right here, all the time. By the way, the sponsor of today's video, SkinGrip, makes these amazing patches that help me keep my CGM sensor on longer and protect it from external objects. Not Not so long ago, I started looping with Tandem's Control IQ algorithm, which basically is an autopilot for my insulin delivery. The insulin pump predicts where my blood sugar will be in the future based on the CGM data and automatically adjusts my insulin dosage to keep me in the ideal range. And this is a true game changer because when I'm really busy, I know I don't need to deal with my insulin pump with my CGM, and I know that my blood sugar will stay in the ideal range where I want it to be, or at least within a reasonable range. Control IQ takes a lot of stress away. It lets you focus on your job, and it significantly reduces the mental burden of diabetes, especially in your work environment. Tip number 4, repeat what works and get rid of what's not working. And this again comes directly from my personal experience. I always thought that I had been managing my blood sugars quite well at work, but since COVID started, I've been working in the home office quite a lot, and I realized it is so much easier and so much more effective to manage my diabetes when I'm working from home. Unfortunately, times change, and now my job requires me to be more in the office again. And so I decided to make a change. I decided to resign from my day job and focus full-time on content creation for diabetics, helping you navigate your diabetes journey. So don't be afraid to think out of the box and make a change. If you see career opportunities elsewhere that might make you happier and that might improve your diabetes management. Don't be afraid to follow your dreams, like the father of Lofta, one of my followers. He had diabetes since late 50s. He went through the best public studies for civil servants. He worked in governments as governor, managing 5,000 people and still spending quality time with his family. His type 1 gave him the ability to go the extra mile where the others would quit. And his great living example now helps his grandson, who is also a type 1 diabetic. Diabetes makes us stronger, and you can do it. I believe in you. Tip number 5. Avoid those blood sugar spikes after meal, because elevated blood sugars might lead to diabetes complications in the long term, and they might reduce your ability to do physically or mentally demanding jobs in the future. To learn my favorite tips on how to avoid those blood sugar spikes, click on the video on the screen right now and watch it next. Don't forget to check out the Skin Grip Scholarship and to reach out to me if you have any questions about professional career with diabetes. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Ciao.